about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show, 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So we got a busy day, a lot to get to, but never too busy to talk about a growing crisis, which are these little babies born with birth defects. Each year, 150,000 babies are born in the United States with birth defects, many of them with conditions so rare that most parents and even a lot of us physicians have never worked with that condition before. And so I'm really excited for our return guest. Dr. Scott Adzik is a fetal surgeon who specializes in treating these babies' unique needs. And he's here to discuss some of the advancements in treating these birth defects and how fetal surgery, we're talking about surgery on the fetus, can help save their lives and help better their lives. Dr. Adzik, so glad you're back on with us today. Thank you so much.
I am delighted to be here with you. Delighted.
Wow. Well, gosh, you're a wealth of information. So, talk to us about these birth defects. It appears to be more common than we think.
Well, I think that's true. We tend to underestimate it. So this is January is Birth Defects Awareness Month, so this is particularly appropriate. So in the U.S., 1 in every 33 babies is born with a birth defect. They're common. They're costly. Billions of dollars are required for medical treatment each year. Birth defects are merciless. No parent is immune. They're mysterious. Most causes of birth defects are unknown. They're overlooked, in my view. Research is underfunded, and they're deadly. Birth defects are the leading cause of infant mortality. So, there you go. Birth defects.
Yeah. And if we could address it early, like we're talking early pre-birth, it appears you are able to minimize so much of the morbidity and mortality. Talk to us about some of the conditions you could actually do in the fetal stage or address in the fetal stage.
Okay, so let's put it in perspective, first of all. So our program was founded in 1995, so this is our 30th year.
Yeah, congrats.
We've had, during that time, more than 33,000 pregnant women carrying babies with birth defects referred to us from all 50 states and more than 70 countries. And so for each year, about 2,000 or so pregnant women come here for evaluation, carrying babies with birth defects. And only really about 10% of them require in utero surgery, fetal surgery. But that's still a substantial amount. And over time, since 1995, we've done more than 2,500 fetal surgeries. So most babies with birth defects can be evaluated here, delivered here in the Garbos Family Special Delivery Unit at the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, and then have all the expertise of this institution brought to bear on that mother and that baby. For those requiring treatment before birth, there's a whole list of conditions, which are rare almost everywhere else, but common here. And the two principal ones that we treat before birth, spina bifida and twin-twin transfusion syndrome. So what's spina bifida? Spina bifida, as you know, occurs when in the developing fetus, the tissues around the spinal cord and spinal nerves don't form. And the higher the defect, the more nerves are affected because they're damaged in utero, principally by neurotoxic amniotic fluid around the baby. And as a result, babies that are not treated before birth, depending on how high the defect goes on the spine, you usually can't walk, wheelchair-bound, hydrocephalus, are a shunt tube lifelong to drain fluid from the brain into the abdomen, and many other problems. Since we did the first such fetal surgery operation for spina bifida in 1998, and we've done about 500 of these operations, and those children treated before birth, as a rule, have much better motor outcome, are much more likely to be able to walk and run around, and are much less likely require a shunt tube to drain hydrocephalus from the brain and some other benefits. So that's a big deal. And, of course, we're doing the long-term follow-up on those children now since the first case was done 27 years ago, and I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Second condition, twin-twin transfusion syndrome. Identical twins in the uterus, of course, separate amniotic sacs. one shared placenta. Usually, twins or singletons have their own placenta, which is the vascular hookup, as you know, between the mother and the umbilical cord of the fetus. These twins with twin-twin transfusions just have one placenta that's shared, and they're abnormal crossing vessels from one side of the placenta to the other, such that one identical twin gets way too much blood, goes into congestive heart failure. The other twin doesn't get enough blood and goes into renal failure, kidney failure, and as a result, both twins die. So how can we prevent that? Well, we can do fetoscopic laser therapy. That involves mother gets some sedation, as a fetoscope, which should be like a laparoscope that's introduced through her abdominal wall into the uterus, visualization of the placenta, and then use a laser fiber to photocoagulate or occlude the culprit blood vessels. And as a result, in almost all cases, both twins can be saved.
That's amazing. I mean, what you guys have been able to do at Children's Hospital Philly is just a miracle. In the last minute or so, I know we can't express how important this type of research is and what we need to do to help your efforts. Talk to us about what the future of fetal medicine looks like.
Well, you're exactly right. Information is the currency, right? So, two things that are going to be big here at CHOP, breakthroughs of the future: artificial womb and in utero gene editing. Artificial womb, led by Dr. Alan Flake, a pediatric surgical scientist here. If we could gain 5 or 6 more weeks for a baby that's going to be born or is born at 23, 24, 25 weeks gestation, where term is 40 weeks, where at that gestational age, the mortality, the death rate is very, very high, and those who survive have a high morbidity or complication rate. That would be wonderful. So Dr. Flake and his crew, working in fetal sheep, are very close to applying this clinically under the auspices of the FDA. Second,
very cool.
Dr. William Pronto, Bill Pronto, another pediatric surgical scientist, is working on in utero gene editing.
Nice.
Treat single gene disorders. Okay.
Great. How can my listeners find out more information?
Fetal surgery, one word, .chop, CHOP.edu. Fetalsurgery.chop.edu.
Fantastic. Dr. Adzik, can't wait to have you back. Thank you and everybody at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, don't go away, guys. We'll be right back. 1-877 Doc Daliah.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now to answer your questions for free. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell our listeners who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me join you to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now and find out how much your case is potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. If you think you deserve compensation, call now to find out how much you qualify for. 800-710-5100.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
The cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians, only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. Dali, 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube. Click like and subscribe. So one of my listeners had told me that Biden and Obama have done more deportations than Trump did in his presidency. And in fact, Trump's deportation efforts are still going to pale in comparison. How? It's confusing. So I'm no immigration expert. I'm a daughter of an immigrant. Very grateful that they were offered a visa, had the paperwork before they got on a plane to come to America, learn the language, studied for the exam, passed the citizenship exam, got jobs, paid taxes. Then my father married my mom, had me, and I am very, very grateful that I'm here. And he married my mom after he was a citizen. He didn't want to marry before he was. He didn't want people to think that he married to become a citizen. They were offered to come. It was 20 some years after the Holocaust. They had wanted to come 20 years prior, but they came here, and I'm very, very grateful. So I support having a legal immigration path because I'm here because of that, and I'm grateful, and that's what makes America great. Unfortunately, with previous administrations, especially the previous administration, it has been a free-for-all at the border. And so if the numbers look higher with Biden than Trump, it's because there were more people that came through. So if Trump had a tighter border, then there would be fewer people to come in to deport. So if you see these headlines, I think New York Times has a headline here, why deportations were higher under Biden than Trump's first term. I haven't looked at their Title 42 and all the other things that they bring up. But we know that Biden really loosened things in the later years. But when you have more of a porous border and you have gotaways and when the numbers are higher, the deportations are going to be higher. So yes, currently Trump's numbers do pale in comparison. Now, with what's happening is obviously drawing a lot of praise from half the country, and then a lot of criticism from the other part of the country, part of the country that didn't want Trump to become president. And this is, I understand what Trump is doing, but I think the media, in fact, I think ABC is under fire for telling illegal immigrants how to hide from ICE. And it's really gotten to a degree, to a level that's ridiculous. It should have never gotten here. If everybody says, well, Trump is bad because he's deporting illegal immigrants, who do you blame, Trump or the president who let illegal individuals in? Not all illegal individuals are criminals. We have a lot of migrants that fled horrible conditions. But the situation we have now is we don't know who's here. We have gotten word that we have we just arrested some Chilean burglars who burglarized Joe Burrow's home. We have Tren de Aragua. We have cartel members, and we have many other individuals that have been able to sneak over. And so do you wait until somebody commits a crime like the Lake and Riley Act? The reason why that passed is the laws originally in the books, not that they were enforced, is if you had a horrible, horrible rap sheet of violent crime, you get deported. But if you burglarized or shoplifted or some larceny, well, the man who killed Lake and Riley, the student from Georgia who was just jogging on campus early morning, that their rap sheet was burglary. We didn't know when they were going to turn to a murderer. And so the Lake and Riley Act wants there to be, and it from what I understand, it's passed and it's gone to now Trump's desk to sign, is to, if somebody has a criminal record, and they're here illegally. We're forgetting they're here illegally. They didn't go through the proper path, the proper vetting. They're out. So ICE has their work cut out for them because, now we don't know who's here. We don't know who's Trinidad. We don't know. And, we had talked about how the Las Vegas Metro Police Department is not going to be going around stopping and searching. They're not going to do that. But they are going to cooperate. If somebody has a criminal past that they end up arresting, they're going to ICE. They are going to be working with ICE and working with federal authorities to arrest somebody with a criminal history. But the problem we have is illegal immigration should have never happened. We have a process for refugees. Refugees are not illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants are people that didn't follow the legal path, that snuck in. And so, yes, there's this call for them to be deported. If America wants to curb illegal immigration and future deportations, then those thinking about doing illegal immigration activity needs to know that's not going to work. It doesn't work in Germany. It doesn't work in Russia. It doesn't work. You can't go to Japan, sneak in illegally, and use their health care and all that. If every other country will deport you, America will too. And what Trump is doing in his first few days is sending a message to anybody else going, you know what? The wall's not built yet. So get in now. Now there's this message of, look, if you're an illegal immigrant, that's illegal. You're not going to get to stay here. And trying to come over and have a baby to allow you to stay might now be challenged. So, this issue wouldn't have happened if Biden hadn't let millions upon millions of people come in. And it is a shame because I think there's a lot of innocent people that wanted to flee, didn't feel like they could wait in line, which there is a line and there's a legal line, but they wanted to cut and it was a free-for-all. You could go to the border, you could get baby formula, you could get water, you could get food, you could get a free bus ticket or free plane ticket to New York City. I wanted to go to New York City for years. For anybody dying to go to New York City, all they had to do is come here illegally. Now, once they got there, they found out, well, if you can't, if you weren't early enough to get into one of the fancy $500 a night hotels that apparently the mayor had to open up, then you were going to be stuck in a shelter. But we wouldn't be in this situation if Biden hadn't, allowed the border and Alejandro Mayorkas, if they had done their jobs. So now Trump looks like the bad guy trying to do the reset. Strengthen the border, let people know we're serious. You come here illegally, you get deported like any other country. So go through the legal path. There's a legal path. But temporarily, that website and right now, temporarily, things are shut down till they could figure out what to do. And we wouldn't have to do this if the hospitals weren't overwhelmed. If the hospitals weren't saying, look, we don't have funds because we're taking care of illegal immigrants that can't pay. We don't have room in our dialysis center. When moms are saying, where's the formula? When the Abbott plant in Michigan had to close. And Representative Kamak saw that there were pallets of it at the border. They woke up the sleeping giant. You could loosen legal immigration policies anytime you want. But when you make something illegal legal and chaotic, and you put people at risk, and kids are being thrown over walls and trafficked while coming here, and people are getting raped and robbed, no, there needs to be a stronger message. And Kamala Harris and Biden's message of, please don't come, wasn't strong enough. I know that's a shock. I don't want to see, hardworking Americans, and people who are busting their butts homeless like we have with our veterans because there's no shelter room and there's no funds because all the funds have to go to people coming in illegally. There's a better way to do it. So Trump is resetting. And a lot of people are going to find problems with that. A lot of people are going to commend it. 1-877-Doc-Daliah. Don't go away.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Doc-Daliah, 1-877-DOCDALI. So I get kind of visual on this show. Many of you are watching my videos on Facebook Live and Twitter and etc. So most of the videos I have are on Facebook Live. Most of my show is audio, though. So for those of you that want to watch something, you might want to tune into Facebook Live. Because I am getting sick and tired of hearing how people do not want to eat healthy, do not want to eat salads or vegetables. They say, I cannot eat vegetables. This little baby bowl of a salad with greens and some purple lettuce and some croutons, although I really don't want to add any more carbs to my diet than I have, so I'm going to skip the croutons. But there's so many of you that go, cannot eat the salad. Nope, sorry. Not going to do this. And you look at this. There's no dressing on this. I do have some dressing on the side, which is really good. There's this place in town called Shucks. I don't really eat crab or anything, but they have like the best dressing. Thing is, it's very sugary. It's very caloric, so I don't eat too much of it. But I don't want to teach you how to eat a salad or vegetables that is drowning in butter or cheese. Or, yeah, I know, to get spinach in me, it has to be cream spinach. But, there's a way to do this and get these vegetables into your system. All right, so I'm going to show you guys this. Watch. So here is a piece of lettuce. This looks very unappetizing at all, right? Watch this. There it is. I'm eating it. It doesn't taste that bad, but there I go. Now here's a purple leaf. This has obviously some different nutrients because of the phytochemicals and the colorings. And if I put this in my mouth, there we go. We eat it. You see, all you have to do is not think about it. Take a piece of lettuce, shove it in your mouth, and there you go. You're going to be able to poop better. It's good for your teeth. A lot of times I smile. I got food in my teeth. At least people know I got my vegetable. You could take the croutons and throw them at your pets. I like to throw these things because these are like little weapons, these little croutons. I don't have to eat the croutons. I love onions. I just can't digest them. But I just ate about a forkful and a half of vegetables without dressing, without crying, without moaning, and I got it in me. Now, some of you are saying, well, okay, that's kind of common sense. If it is common sense, how come you guys aren't doing it? How come you're not getting the vegetables in you? How come you won't eat it? Well, because you were trained on only doing things that you want to do. Your parents, when you were growing up, said if you want dessert, you're going to have to finish your meal. Well, no, you don't always get dessert in life. If you want to live, you eat. I'm telling you right now, in caveman days, I sincerely doubt zebra was tasty, or the fish that they caught was really that succulent and delicious. But we, over time, evolved to only eat things that are peppered or have cumin or cinnamon or basil or oregano. Now, I am not saying don't season your foods. If you want to season your foods, that's fine. But when are we going to go back to the thinking that not everything has to taste super yummy? Look at how I'm trying to get everybody to drink more water. Water has no taste. Now, to me, it tastes good when I'm really thirsty after a workout. But water is not going to be sweet. It's not going to be chocolatey. It's not going to be bubbly. Although there was some interesting study on carbonated water we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But I want you, as we're, going into this new year, to do something that might not necessarily give you such dopaminergic rewards. That's healthy. Okay? Let's say you know your mother-in-law would like a call from you, and there is absolutely no dopamine that seems to come from that. Just do it. And I tell you, you will actually feel better. Whenever I eat a salad that I didn't dump in a sugary dressing, I feel good that I ate a healthy meal. This is my breakfast and lunch today, and it's plenty. It's big enough. I'm going to skip the onions because I don't digest onions anymore. I wish I did, and I don't have any Beano. Beano gives you enzymes, so when you don't digest food, you get very gassy and bloaty, and I got a flight tomorrow. I really don't want to be, having to evacuate a plane, so I'm going to be skipping the onions, but I got to tell you, God, onions. These are, if you want to season foods and you want to add flavor, you put onions in it. I mean, onions are fantastic. It is a healthy, very healthy way to season. Another thing I like are tomatoes. Oops, I dropped my tomato. Well, 3-second rule. These little tomato bits, that sweetens your salad. Also, you could add cranberries. Some people like to add cheese. I want to kind of limit, the dairy for me. But yeah, cheese can make your salad better. Some people add egg. And, if you are doing dressing, interestingly, so, I got a nice, this is like more than a dollop. This is like a whole bunch of dressing. And now it just spilled all over the place. So when I did Weight Watchers years ago, they taught me, it's funny, I gained a lot of weight in puberty. And when my parents were trying to lose weight, I went to, so I was a kid, I was like 13. I went to Weight Watchers with them. And then I skinnied out and I was slim until menopause. But I wasn't like super slim. I was Dr. Daliah thin. So that's size 7 to 9 with double Ds. But still thin, I stayed thin. Even after the pregnancies, I lost the baby weight. It wasn't until menopause and perimenopause that all of a sudden everything packed on. But I was talking about, now I forgot what I was talking about. That's another thing, dementia. Talking about weight gain. Oh, yeah. So Weight Watchers taught us that rather than dump, and we're talking, this is the 1980s, rather than dumping a whole bunch of dressing onto your salad, take a fork. And it wasn't Weight Watchers. It was somebody in the Weight Watchers room. One of the people that just weighed in said they dip their fork into the dressing. And there's a little bit on each strand of the fork, whatever you call those poker thingies of the fork. And then they dip it in their salad and they get that little taste and it works. You could use honey. There's a lot of things you could do. But I don't even want you to sit here and try to manipulate your vegetables. Just take whatever you need to eat and stick it in your mouth. It's that simple. And, I don't want to insult anybody. I get it. Life is too short. If you could enjoy, some chocolate mousse and some succulent, well-seasoned, slow-roasted prime rib, I don't blame you. But people are not eating what they need to that's healthy because they're like, well, it doesn't taste good. I need to make it taste better. You're not going to make it taste better. To me, this tastes like crap. But I don't tell myself that. I tell myself that the more bitter, assuming you're not eating something that has fungus on it or is rotten. But if I taste bitter or I taste vegetable, I tell myself, ooh, that's good. I'm really getting in my vitamins. Speaking of vitamins, look at this market of gummy vitamins. How many of you have had more acid reflux and burping because of the gelatin? When did vitamins have to get sugary? And I understand the Flintstones vitamins I had as kids were tasty. But no, your vitamins are not supposed to be sugary. 1-877 Daliah, don't go away.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-910-7500. That's 800-910-7500. Call now to find out how much your case could be worth.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to totalwellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. totalwellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Self-reliance. It's not a phrase we hear much in our culture these days. It might conjure up images of pioneers, the West, rifles, strapping men, and strong women. But what does it mean for us in today's world? The New American Magazine has just released its latest collector's edition, Self-Reliance, Foundation of Freedom. In it, the New American authors outline the necessity of self-reliance for a free people, tips for self-reliant living, and the importance of not giving up hope. This unique edition includes articles on the self-sufficiency of the founders, preparing for a worst-case scenario, firearms, financial self-reliance, the importance of community, and many other topics by expert writers. Now, for a limited time, the New American is offering a bundle of 3 collector's editions, Self-Reliance, The Great Reset, and Trump World, for just $19.95. Available at shopjbs.org. Visit shopjbs.org today.
For tuning in, 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So liberal media is going to have a lot of fun. Their ratings are going to probably slowly come back up because when Biden was in office, people were pretty sick of what was going on. And CNN and MSNBC, their ratings tanked. Their ratings will always go up whenever there's the opposite. Now, first of all, media should not be left-leaning or right-leaning. It should be neutral, but because they don't seem to ascribe to that, they're considered left-leaning media, very left-leaning media. And so they are now going to attract a lot of attention as they nitpick every sort of executive order Trump is doing. And he's done a lot of executive orders. He's getting to work. One such executive order, though, that is drawing a lot of debate is, I can't believe we're here debating this, but this is where we are today, where Trump had to do an executive order. And I know other countries are looking at this going, what's going on in America? In fact, when I was in Israel, people were asking me, how come in America people don't know if you're boy or girl? How come, what's going on over there? And it's because, we've changed the definition. So Trump has issued an executive order that there are two sexes, men and women. With that could come a lot of changes as well as challenges in terms of infrastructure. So according to his executive order, this was dated January 20th, they said across the country, this is Trump's executive order, across the country, ideologues who deny the biological reality of sex have increasingly used legal and other socially coercive means to permit men to self-identify as women, gain access to intimate single-sex spaces and activities designed for women, from women's domestic abuse shelters to women's workplace showers. This is wrong. He says efforts to eradicate the biological reality of sex fundamentally attack women by depriving them of their dignity, safety, and well-being. The erasure of sex in language and policy has a corrosive impact not just on women, but the validity of the entire American system. Basing federal policy on truth is critical to scientific inquiry, public safety, morale, and trust in government itself. So he says, my administration will defend women's rights and protect freedom of conscience by using clear and accurate language and policies that recognize women are biologically female, men are biologically male. Section 2 says it is the policy of the United States to recognize two sexes, male and female. These sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible reality. Under my direction, the executive branch will enforce all sex protective laws to promote this reality, and the following definition shall govern all executive interpretation of an application of federal law. Sex shall refer to an individual's immutable biological classification as either male or female. Sex is not a synonym for and does not include the concept of gender identity, meaning you could identify, but your sex has been used as an identifier in medical records, in criminal records, is going to be male or female. You could identify whatever you want, but your sex is still male or female, according to what I get from this executive order. Women or woman and girls or girl should mean adult and juvenile human females, respectively. Yeah, he has to make these defined. Men or man, and boys or boys shall mean adult and juvenile human males, respectively. So he goes on to do that. And then he says gender ideology replaces the biological category of sex with an ever-shifting concept of self-assessed gender identity, permitting, he says, the false claim that males can identify and thus become women and vice versa, and requiring all institutions of society to regard this false claim as true. Gender ideology includes the idea that there is a vast spectrum of genders that are disconnected from one sex. So here's the thing. All right, and again, he went through, there's a lot to this, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this now pertains to, well, what do we do with rape shelters and female shelters? If women need a safe place, how do we, prevent somebody pretending? And that's the problem. The true transgender individuals are not the ones who are harmful. It's the people saying, look, I'm not winning on this team, so I need to switch to female so I could finally win some gold medals. I mean, the pretending. There's a lot of individuals who do not want to be in a male prison. I don't blame them. Bad things happen in prisons, both male and female. And so there are many inmates that have transitioned, identify as female, so they could be in a female prison. Now, my argument, with 13-year-old transgender females being in kindergarten girls' bathrooms and why parents are freaked out about that is we may eventually have to address why bathrooms and showers and jails are so dangerous. I understand it's cheaper to have everybody pee and potty in the same place. But if people are getting killed and raped and bad things are happening when they are in groups, then maybe how to solve this problem is, rather than spending all this money to help people be female so they get to avoid the men's jail and then put them through hormones, why don't we have more single cell or single bathroom entities in jail? Now, I understand the average male, cis male, is scared to death of going to a male jail. Somebody has to address the fact that male jails and female jails should not be dangerous places. The fact that people are getting raped and hurt and killed, no, that should not be happening. But it does, because the way our jail system is there's not enough room, there's not enough beds. They have to have open areas. Plus, for people's health, they need to interact, etc., with each other. But apparently, if bad things are happening and people are like, if I go to jail, it's going to be as a woman, not as a male. Maybe we address that. Because sadly, fakers who are pretending to be transgender are now putting women at risk. And this is a problem. As I said with the bathrooms, these schools have had to say, look, if you want to identify as a female and go into a woman's bathroom, you're fine. You could do that. Why do they want to do that? Is it that they're truly transgender, or they're scared to death of being in the boys' bathroom? We may just have to go to single-sex bathrooms. Or not single-sex bathrooms, but single-unit bathrooms. There was a bar that was holding the American Cancer Society fundraiser. And the bathrooms, I was like, where's the women's room or the men's room? And it was 7 bathrooms with a guard in front of them. And they were all unisex, single-use bathrooms. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Then you could use the bathroom. It doesn't matter if you're a girl or boy. You're not in danger because there's a guard there making sure nobody is sneaking into the bathroom. Now, I'm sure they're there because they want to make sure nobody was having sex. But it also protects you against somebody else. And so while everybody is starting to freak out, going, well, what do we do? If now transgender females have to be in different jails and it's, there's a way to simplify things but improve on it. If people are so fearful of a male jail, let's make male jails less fearful. Criminals being among criminals. And that also, by the way, cements the point that, somebody who might be in for a nonviolent offense, can still become violent, as we see in jail. So a lot of work has to be done, even beyond what the executive order is saying. 1-877 Dr. Daliah.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.